Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Million Dollar Days. We're joined by a special guest. We got Grant Tassie Brown, former undefeated boxer, now turned boxing promoter. Thank you very much, mate, for joining us.
Oh, mate, it's really good to be here.
Excellent, excellent. Hey, it's great how we connected, you know, the social media world, how it is at the moment. We put up a random post one day on most of our pages and said, hey, we're looking to get people on board. If you've got an interesting story, we'd love to hear from you. And then you said a friend of a friend reached out to you and said, hey, check out the boys, and here we are.
Yeah, a mate of mine, Boris, he's a very big entrepreneur himself. And
yeah, we know Boris well. Shout out to Boris.
Yeah, but shout out to Boris, yeah. So he's the one that, I used to train him. I was his boxing coach.
Oh, there you go.
We've got a very good connection through Russia. Like I'm very close to Costa Zoo, and I've been to Russia on three occasions. So,
nice.
So me and Boris are good mates, and he hit me up, and he actually come to my my event the other week with Crawford, which we'll touch on. But yeah, he's a good dude. So shout out to Boris.
Yeah, that's it. Awesome.
What a small world.
Yeah, I know, right? How funny. So yeah, mate, how'd you get into the world of boxing?
Yeah, well, growing up in Tasmania, my surname Brown, it's pretty big name in boxing. Like my father and grandfather were both fighters and both champions, both legends of the era. I think my grandfather, I think his first fight was in 1935. I've got a trophy actually, says 1935 on it. And his my great uncle Bobby, his brother, oldest brother, was 1933. So there was 5 brothers, and 3 of the 5 boxed. Lenny, Bobby, and Reggie, and the other 2 were quite well known in their field as well. That generation were very established, and my grandfather had a lot of professional fights. And then my dad's era, he was the first of his generation, and then him and all his cousins boxed, and that led into the Brown name in boxing. And at the age of 5, Dad used to show me, get me just to hit his hands in the kitchen, and I was sort of into wrestling back then. I was watching Hulk Hogan and all that stuff, and he used to say, oh, it's fake. I'm like, no. Anyway, the dinner table talk was always boxing, and my mother knew a lot about it, and my grandmother, because they had no choice, because that's all. It always got into the topic of boxing. My grandfather and father would debate the great Joe Louis and Muhammad Ali and Rocky Marciano, and so that's all I knew, and but it wasn't until I was 13 that Dad actually took me to the gym. I had very bad asthma as a kid. And my grandfather straight away said he'll never fight, because I used to get a lot of come down with a lot of chest infections, and I played footy. Footy's footy, but not quite as intense as boxing, because at least on the footy field you can go off on the bench and have a rest, but in boxing there's no rest. You got a guy trying to take your head off. So it wasn't until about 13. I never grown out of it, but I got a little bit better. And Dad said, we'll take you to the gym, and I was 45 kilo. And 6 months later, I had my first fight. It was
at 13?
I clicked into 14, just on 14. Yeah, 48 kilo. Had my first fight and won it at the Hobart City Hall, which was the same place as my father and grandfather fought. And that's where it all began. Never looked back then. That was it. And in primary school, I guess I was a bit of a mix. I was sort of shy, but I was a bit cocky as well. I was sort of shy around the girls, but cocky around my mates. And I always used to say, one day I'm going to represent Australia, and one day I'm going to do this and that, and then at 19, I represented Australia, which was my dream, to wear the green and gold tracksuit and travel to international tournaments, and be based at the Institute of Sport in Canberra, and then that was a huge achievement for me. And then but before that, when I was 18. I got the offer to move to Sydney to train with Johnny Lewis and Jeff Fennick, so that was huge for an 18-year-old kid to leave his mum and dad, which was hard, and went up to Sydney and trained at the famous Newtown PCYC where Jeff Fennick and Jeff Hitman Hart and then Costa Zoo and all the legends. That's where they all trained, and then then I started my serious career was in Sydney.
So 13, never trained before, trained for 6 months, first fight.
I wouldn't say. Look, my dad taught me.
Obviously, yeah.
Dad taught me the basics. Yeah. But never properly hit pads before. Just pretty much learnt the basics from Dad. Just hitting his hands in the kitchen. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, but and that'll still teach you though.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I learned more than the average kid would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
At what point were you like,
Mike Tyson said that too. It's like everyone's got a plan until you get
Get
punched
punched in the face. True, that's right.
Yeah.
so 13, first fight, you win. At what point you're like, this is it?
Yeah, no, I knew straight. I just knew from the training and the sparring. The thing is, I've always been very ambitious and I've always wanted to be the best at something. And I played cricket and, I was an okay cricketer. I played footy. I was a bit too small for footy and I wasn't the most skillful. Gutsy, like I'd always been in the bottom of the pack. That's what Dad seen me that day, seen me tackling these big ruckmen and they were twice my size, same age. And that's where he said, come in the boxing. The boxing's the same weight and the same sort of, you get matched around your same school level up until you're in the open division. And I just thought that this suits me, like I can hold my own against these guys. And then once I started sparring guys better than me, started going okay. I'm thinking, geez, by the time I fight someone on my own level, I'm going to be ready. So I just knew the boxing was for me. I finally found my thing.
Yeah, okay. Do you do any other form of combat sports, like MMA or kickboxing, wrestling, anything like that?
Yeah, that wasn't really even around back then. I mean, like I guess karate was. I think growing up was pretty much boxing and karate after the Karate Kid. So they were the two.
Yeah.
So pretty much if you watch Rocky or you watch Karate Kid. I mean, I watched both, but look, you had your kids that went to karate and that, and then you had, but there was no such thing as MMA. Not when I was around. I mean,
No, it's probably more recently.
Oh, it is more recently. Yeah.
15 years or so.
Nah, I've trained guys to work on their combat, to work on their stand up. But I mean, it's always boxing for me. It was always the dream, as I said, to represent Australia. Then obviously, I turned professional at the age of 23.
Yeah. So on that, now that we're speaking about it, what do you think about the cross sport of you're seeing a lot of MMA fighters coming down to boxing?
Yes.
And most of the time, correct me if I'm wrong, it's for a payday.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're getting a significant amount more doing a boxing match with a well-known person compared to what they're getting in the MMA space. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's just all show? It's a waste of time? Do you think, what do you think about MMA fighters and their pay? Like, should they be getting a lot more? Do you follow that at all, or do you just keep your distance, or just do your own thing?
No, it's a good question. All my friends know me, anyone who listens to this interview, I'm very old-fashioned and I'm very like just when it comes to boxing, I'm old school. I'm just like the heritage of the sport. I'm very much a big believer in just the fine art of boxing. So I'm not one to watch MMA. Look, I give credit to any athlete that trains for any sport.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult, if I don't know anyone that's ever done a boxing circuit of any type, of any sort.
Any sport at all, I give credit to, whether it's tennis or whatever, badminton. A combat sport, I give extra credit to. So then guys are going out there, it's just not my thing. I'm not a fan of it. Like I don't, like I said, and credit to them for doing what they do. They're machines. But I'm not a fan of the wrestling and the stuff. I just believe boxing is number one, and there's nothing like it. And people are doing bare knuckle now. They're trying to get that going, and they're trying to do another thing that's like boxing, but it's smaller gloves. And then you've got MMA. I believe that, and even kickboxing. And I'm not putting people down, but you could be a kickboxer and win 20 world titles, and no one knows who you are.
Yeah.
In boxing, if you do something, you're known.
Yeah.
Hence why Conor McGregor, who we just spoke about, he come to boxing against Floyd Mayweather for his biggest payday. He had to come to boxing. So
that's right. But do you feel that the athletes that are doing that, it's like tarnishing the boxing reputation or the shit? Like, do you feel like it's a
I personally do. I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I was trying to work out the name before. I'm a purist.
Yeah.
So I'm a purist. So I don't like it, and I never watched McGregor Mayweather.
Oh, you didn't watch it?
Didn't watch it. I actually took deliberately. Everyone watched it, and I took a stance, and I went and had lunch at Crown, done a video on Instagram, said, "What's everyone doing today?" I knew everyone was there watching it. People were watching it at the cinemas even.
Yeah.
It was on.
Oh, really?
So I deliberately, because I wasn't a fan of it, I thought a guy that hasn't boxed doing MMA, and it worked out to be what it was. So, even though he probably went a little bit better than what people thought, but Floyd wasn't even really trying, and he'd done it for a payday.
It's like,
knocked him out.
course, yeah.
Tyson and Jake Paul I didn't watch. Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. I didn't watch.
Yeah, that's another one.
Jake
Jake
Paul.
Jake
Paul and Joshua. I didn't watch.
I just watched that one.
Yeah, so I just don't watch it. And I'll be honest with you, I've only watched one UFC fight, and that was because I had a personal interest in it because it was Khabib versus McGregor, and because I'd met Khabib, and I'm very big with Russia. I'm very pro-Russian, very pro-Chechnya, Dagestan. I like them countries, so I've actually travelled to them countries, which we'll talk a bit later at the moment because I met the president of Chechnya, which you just don't do. Trust me. So, and Connor, I've always liked Connor, and I only met him recently, but I didn't know him back then. So that was just, so I did watch that fight, but it's the only one I've watched.
Yeah, look, I
love
love
that.
Connor's.
Great fight to watch.
Yeah, I know. It was so much hype, yeah.
Which one?
McGregor versus
Oh,
Khabib.
yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. McGregor, I quite liked McGregor early on in his career.
Yeah,
You know, I loved how it was the underdog story. He'd come from rags to riches.
100%.
He made his way up.
100%.
And then the guy just got so big.
Yeah.
With,
Freak.
Like, he had a mouth, so everyone backed it up there. He had the following of his country.
100%.
And they're all, like, you look at all
Connor's
the Irish,
huge.
they're just loving it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, but
And
bigger
it's-
than the like, there's a lot of fighters that have a mouth.
Yeah.
But he backed it up.
No, that's right.
he did.
Exactly.
That
right.
was-
He backed it.
But you know who started the whole thing, don't you? Muhammad Ali started the
Shit talking, yeah.
And he's the greatest of all time. I mean, he started it. Not many guys can keep it up. Floyd did. Floyd made a lot more money. See, Floyd had two careers. Floyd was Pretty Boy, which he was a gun. Unbelievable fighter. But then he turned his persona into Money May, and that's when he started making the money when they made the 24/7 documentaries about the fight hypes and he started making more money when people wanted him to lose. So it's like I tell everyone the same. You know, the best ever in Australia is Anthony Mundine, my dear brother. No one has done what Anthony Mundine done. He's made millions because people hated his mouth. They want to pay him to get beat, but he keeps winning.
Yeah.
So I always say this: there'd be no Batman without the Joker. You always need a villain. And in sport, if you can play the villain properly like McGregor, you've made it.
Yeah, because he turned to villain, didn't he? You know, he was top of the game, and then people
Shut
loved
your
him.
mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Who the fuck is this guy? Yeah, so
So do you think Jake Paul falls into that category? Because a lot of people say he plays the villain well. Like he's good at because he is not a whilst a lot of people watch and blah blah blah. He is not a super loved. People are watching to see him get knocked out.
yeah, no, 100%. With him though, look, different because like he didn't start from he's famous for something else.
Yeah.
He's famous for
He's been a
YouTube
YouTuber,
or whatever other
Content,
stuff.
yeah.
And I mean, look, I know this is the era we're in, even though I can't stand it.
Oh, we say it. It's like we don't love social media, but we love what it does for our business.
Yeah, I know,
you
100%. Like,
what it's
100%.
about.
I'd be off it tomorrow if it wasn't good for my business.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, being 48 years of age, like what I just mentioned before, look, I'll give him credit. He still has done something.
Yeah.
And I'll give him credit. Like, I'm bigger. Look, put it this way. If you're making money and you're not hurting anyone, good on you. Like, so bravo to him and his brother. His brother done an exhibition with Floyd Mayweather. Now he's in WrestleMania. That's talk about living a
that's
childhood dream.
That's right, yeah.
As for Jake Paul, look, he'll never be a boxer, even though they say, oh, he's a boxer. Though. Look, he trains with the best trainers. He's got the proper nutrition. He does it all, but he just is no good. He just hasn't got
you
it.
watch him and you're like,
Well, I told you I didn't watch those fights, but the clippers I've seen, he's not good. He never will be good. So he's got the best trainers and everything. He does everything properly in Puerto Rico. Thing is, if everyone could fight or box, everyone would be doing it. Most blokes that have come from, that are from I don't know, like a macho background, that red-blooded male. Everyone wants to be known as the tough guy in the pub, but not everyone can be. You know, so he's done great from what he can do school-wise. The Tyson thing was a joke. Obviously, what I've heard about that was set up and the little reels I've seen, because I said I don't know if I've never watched it, but I've seen reels and it looks like Tyson was holding his punches. And at that age, Tyson still knocks him out because you don't lose your power.
Yeah.
Then
Well, you saw some of his training clips as well. Like
Anthony
he looked like he had it.
Anthony Joshua played with him until we. And look, I'll give him credit for getting there with Anthony Joshua. And he was always going to get knocked out. I can't believe he actually done that because now his persona's probably changed a bit. But Andrew Tate, what's Andrew Tate done? Andrew Tate has got this whole big persona as this man, but he's shit. He can't fight. He got bashed by a guy that can't fight the other day. So that hasn't done. Matter of fact, I've barely heard from him since that fight.
Yeah, I think
He was
trending.
trending. He's quiet now. So look, it's not for everyone, but I do take my hat off. Anyone that gets in a ring or a cage, bravo to you. But for me personally, being a purist, I don't support anything that's not proper amateur and professional boxing, and you've come from that background.
So how long have you been retired for now?
I've retired, what was it now? Retired in 2010, so.
Do you reckon if someone said to you now, cool, let's get into a training camp, you reckon you could jump back in the ring and be competitive?
I was thinking about it last year. I was thinking about it last year because, I know.
Do you have the itch? Like you're still young enough. Like you're still like you get back in the gym, you train, you get back. You see everyone's seen the Rocky movies.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, my partner, she's never seen me fight because we met after my boxing career. So she's like, it'd be good to my stepdaughters and that. And I like that excuse to get fit. I need a carrot to be dangled for me to train properly because and all fighters will understand this, when you're not fighting no more, you're meant to train, but you don't have to train. We all need a date to look forward to. So when you have a date that you're fighting, okay, just say 10 weeks from now. That's it. I train, my diet, my nutrition, my rest, no nights out, no eating naughty stuff, training twice a day, 6 days a week, rest day Sunday. And that's it. I live for that 10 weeks. That's all I live is that fight. When you haven't got that date in your head, us fighters, it's hard for us to live. That's why a lot of fighters do put on weight and do suffer depression.
I mean, you look at even
because we hit a wall.
Any sport, like you look at a lot of footballers, they're very much the same. A footballer finishes his career, and then the next year you look at them and they've put on 15 kilos.
Well, the footy player usually they have their first kick of the ball when they're probably 5, playing junior footy. Yeah. They play right up until say 31, 32. That's all they know. What are you meant to do now? Go get a job? Yeah, it's tough for us. And I hit a wall. I suffered of a big downslide after my career because I didn't have to retire at the time, but I just wasn't getting the satisfaction. I wasn't getting the fights that I was meant to have. I don't know how many, probably at least 20 pullouts. You know what I mean? So you have a fight, then you train for a few months, then you get ready to lose weight, then someone pulls out, and you get ready again and someone pulls out, then you might get another fight. It was too much stop, start. So after all the years I've been in it, and I think, geez, like, it's so hard to get motivated to get up at 5 a.m. now and run like I used to, So, but look, in saying that, I'd love to say right now, I'll make an announcement, mate. If I can get some sort of motivation, get a date, get a venue, and just train and just have one more just to come back, not at a high level, but just still a professional level. I'd never do an exhibition or nothing like that, and just who knows, mate. But I do need an excuse to get fit. I know that much.
We want someone call through and give him a date.
Yeah. Let's go.
Do you think that every man should know how to fight?
From where I'm from, it's hard to say this, man, because and my partner's got no idea where I try and tell her about where I'm from, like in Tasmania.
Where are you from for the audience?
From Hobart, Tasmania. From always say 2 suburbs in one, Moraine and Mornington. So I lived in both suburbs. They're both literally bang, bang next to each other. So both the same postcode, 7018. So Moraine, Mornington's where all my family's from. Growing up was rough. So from where I'm from and where my dad and grandfather, yes, every man needs to fight. Every man should know how to fight. That's the only way growing up in Tassie. If you didn't know how to fight, man, I'll tell you now, mate. You
walked over.
Yeah, 100%. Growing up was awesome in Tassie. It was awesome. And it was, there was no, I'm being pretty advocate if you see my socials lately on knife crime, and I might get into that later. But I'm very
hot topic at the moment.
Let's get into that later. Hit me back later on that one. But I'm very just against it so much. All I say is this: I don't condone fighting, but boys will be boys growing up, yeah, and especially around the rough neighbourhood. You should know how to look after yourself. So, but a fair fight is 2 men 1-on-1 or 2 boys 1-on-1. No weapons, no 2-on-3 or 2-on-1, and no kicking. Just 2 gentlemen, and that's what it's called, the gentleman's sport. Have a knuckle and then shake hands, or rematch the next day, or just leave on leave it on bad terms, but leave it as it is. But there's one winner, one loser. That's how we were brought up. And yeah, I do believe most men should know how to fight, especially in this day and age. But these days, you got to be careful because most guys don't want to fight. Like this younger generation, they all want to go the easy way out. You know what I mean? They don't want a copper ass kicking. You know. So, but yeah, all my older cousins, there was a lot of violence around my area, a lot of drugs being dealt, a lot of drugs being taken, which is something that I'm proud of. That I always just never took part in. You know, and I was really it's like. I think most people look up to their older cousins and that, and I'm not bagging my family because I love a lot of my family. Not all of them done this, but some of them. But I just thought, nah, man, like I'm not going to go down that path. I'm not going to, get in trouble with the cops. I don't want to do the drugs. I don't want to be around. And I just knew that I'm going to make it. I'm going to be a champion boxer. I'm gonna do something special. And and I feel like I did. I feel like that I achieved more than pretty much anyone I know growing up, and that's it, man. That's where I started the whole, the whole Tassie legacy thing coming. That's the whole Tasmanian Devil. I got named that, and the rest is history. But I'm very big on troubled youth. Like you do have a choice. Don't think that I don't believe in peer pressure at all because I had it, and I just said, no, mate, you go do what you want to do. If you want to go steal that car or go and smoke that bong or go and smoke them ciggies, I'm going to training. I'm getting 2 buses because my parents never drove from Rarrain to Glenorchy, which is from the east to the west. So, two buses to training. Get home when it's dark. And that's my second session for the day because I ran at 5 a.m. before the school bus. And this is 13, 14. So
that's not there's a level of motivation there, but there's something more powerful than that, and it has to be discipline.
Yeah, it's discipline.
Right. So what gave you that edge to even at a young age? Because, mate, at 14, 15, 13 to 15, I was playing video games. Yeah, I was hanging out with the mates, doing whatever I was going to do.
Yeah, weekends, I'd play video games and
too. Look, absolutely, there's nothing wrong with it.
But training,
you're talking about something that's difficult, like boxing and getting fit and being and training twice a day, 6 days a week, eating, chicken and rice every day.
Broccoli
it's
steamed
hard.
fish, steamed chicken.
That's right. Like for you to have the temptation of going down the path of going, you know what, I'm going to go hang out with my mates. I'm going to go have a drink.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the beach today. I've worked hard.
Yep.
Like what part of you was like, no, it's this. We're burning the boats. Yeah. We're going all in on this. How did you get to that space for yourself?
It's a great question. Like, and as I said, I don't really know. I just thought if I want to be the best at something, I've got to do more than I've got to do extra. Like, going with your mates after school. Usually they'd go and smoke behind the sheds and then go down and, probably steal something or buy something or whatever. And back then there was, smoking bongs and siphon fly spray was the go.
Yeah, right.
In a bag. Don't know why they used to do that. But, and all that stuff, drinking on weekends and going to parties. Look, I used to get teased a bit. Oh, you're not, you're boring and you're this.
You're going against the norm.
Yeah,
like
but I had this thing in my head. I was, and as I said, like Dad, I know Dad made mistakes in his career. Like Dad, drank and fought in pubs and, got arrested by cops and, and he used to gamble and bet on horses. And he used to tell me, son, don't make the mistakes I made. So he was a motivation. But deep down in my head, I just had that Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality. Yeah. I just said, I want it. And I thought, I'm not blessed with anything. I'm a small, skinny white guy with, red hair and freckles. God hasn't been kind to me. Shout out to the gingers. But I just had that belief and that was it, man. And then the kids that, probably said, oh yeah, you're boring or you're this. A couple of years later, once I started making the news and getting the now I'd say, now you want to come watch me fight. Oh, now you want tickets to my fight. Okay. So it all changed. So I just had self-belief. That's all I had. And that's what I tell the kids. It doesn't matter. You don't need your mum and dad to believe in you. You don't need your friend. You don't need the teacher. You don't need no one to believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, that's all that matters. And I can't believe in any more than that, mate. I just wanted that bad.
Well, I mean, people want what you have, but more often than not, they're not willing to
work for it,
to do what they need to do to get what 100%. You have.
It's
And that's what separates champions from, the average Joe, is their ability to push through adversity, to push through the pain, to be uncomfortable so they can get in a position of growth and then excel. And you see it like success leaves clues, yeah? You see it everywhere, and you've met some highly successful people in business, in life, in the ring, wherever it is. And you just need as a consumer, if you want more in your life, if you're looking at these things in your life now, all you have to do is look at the clues that they're leaving behind.
Yeah,
what do they
100%.
need to do? But it's so often that people just, they don't want to do the hard yards. They don't want to do the hard yards. And I've said it so many times. It's like, you don't need to do that much to win, in the sense of everyone's playing the game over here. Everyone's doing the fucking bare minimum to get through. And you just do that much more than everyone else.
Yeah.
Like you're already miles ahead of them.
Well, can I say, look, there was a lot more naturally talented boxers around my age group back then, like in the state team, and in like there was a lot more naturally gifted. Just them kids that just got that natural, whether it's football or boxing.
Yeah.
But they won a few trophies at 13, 14, 15, then retired. Like they weren't into the training up early, not going out Saturday night to be up for training Sunday. They got into the girls and all that. So I've done all that later. So I skipped all that pretty much till I was like 20. Yep. From them years I was just that, and obviously no drinking and no drugs and all smoking. But so that's the thing. So there was kids better than me, and but it's about what you're willing to sacrifice, and what's that saying? You get comfortable being uncomfortable, and
hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work.
Doesn't work hard. That's so true. So that's a big thing, and as I said, but just a belief. And I always knew that I was destined for bigger things in Tasmania. Like I fly the flag, Tasmanian born and bred, but I just
you're in
knew.
Melbourne now? You're in Melbourne.
I live in Melbourne now, but I just seemed that I just knew that there was limited opportunities there. So that's when I moved to Sydney at 18. To train with the best trainers in the history of Australia, like Johnny Lewis and Jeff Fennick and Billy Hussein, arguably the three of the greatest, and to be there, alongside the great Costa Zoo at 18 years of age was a dream come true. And and then obviously all the great sparring that's in Sydney, where because it's like that iron sharpens iron, so I'm up there with a lot of hungry boys, mate, a lot of tough Lebo boys and tough Italian boys, and they all want to take turns in bashing the Aussie, but I held my own, and I've got family now. I say family, not friends, up there now in Sydney, which I go up there regularly still now. And I'm probably one of the only skips that could walk around the areas of Lakemba, Punch Bowl. Shout out to Yaguna 2199, all the boys up there. So look, as I said, I've got a good relationship up there with the boys, but I had to earn it. I had to earn the respect the hard way. They had to see this guy take it, and they think, "Fuck, this guy's he's for real. He's playing for keeps." You know what I mean? So, look, it's boys being boys, men being men, and I feel like I'm from another lifestyle, another era, because the era now is a little bit softer, I think.
Why do you think that is?
It's like this. So my father wasn't as strong as my grandfather. I'm not as strong as my dad. And if I had a son, he wouldn't be as strong as me. We all get watered down each generation.
But so at some point, it's going to get to zero.
Yeah, that's right. 100%. That's right. I mean, I don't want to go into the political side of things, but I think just saying, like, we can see what society accepts now, but wouldn't accept back in the olden days. You know what I mean? And men were.
Life is easier to live, yes.
Yeah,
you're
but
right
men were expected to be more of a man back then.
Yeah.
And whether it's right or wrong, people say we evolved. Look, I don't know. I looked up to my dad and I looked up to my grandfather. To me, they were the bigger than Ben-Hur. They were legends. I'd never talk back to them. There was no fear of being hit by my dad, but he just didn't want him to raise that voice. That was enough, and he was
an authority figure.
My dad was another level, mate. Yeah. They called him the Red Terror. That was his nickname. But I mean, I respected him as everyone else respected him, and as I said, he was a great, great man. And he's the reason, that I'm the man I am today, 1,000,000%. There's something that a lot of fathers don't have for kids, which the best thing a father can do for a child is give them time. To always have time for your son. And he had time for me. If it was nice outside, we played cricket, football, badminton, table tennis, boxing. If it was raining, we'd be playing card games, board games, and watching movies. Like he always had time for me. When Mum was at work when I was little, because my dad had an accident before I was born on the wharfs, working on the docks, and he couldn't work again after that. This big in this day and age, if we was with lawyers today, he would have got a massive payout, but no one even advised him. It was in the 60s or whatever. A crane fell down and hit him in the head.
Yeah.
Almost killed him. And then they said, he put a bandage on and go home.
Walk it off.
Mate, imagine the payout now.
Yeah.
He's working on the docks. So like back then, Tassie was just like very much like Melbourne with the wharfs. Not so much now, but it was back then. The painters and dockers, and they used to mix between Tasmania and Melbourne. So I knew a dad sort of as being more of a at home, but he always had time for his son. So I miss him. So he passed away September 2019. And then I moved my mum to Melbourne to live with me, and
from Tassie.
Yeah, I moved mum to be with me. She was always the rock. I'm one of them people. Just you're always better for meeting her. Like everyone would just walk away feeling 10 foot tall. She was that person. She was just so selfless and beautiful. And anyway, she passed. August 30th, 2024 at the Peter Mac Hospital, and
sorry,
I appreciate it, mate, to cancer. But as I said, before she passed, she told me to conquer the world and make her proud. So that's what I'm doing right now, guys. I'm just that obsessed with just being always been a good person, but just when sometimes you feel a bit down or you feel like snapping at something, or I feel like losing it at road rage because I'm not going to sell you that I'm this and that. I'm a firecracker. But I think of her, I think, no. Don't fuck up. I can swear on it a little bit.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay?
Robbie's never sworn before, so you might teach me a few.
So yeah, just not nothing real, but just don't fuck up.
Yeah.
Keep on the path, and I'm doing that. So with the support of
it's another form of discipline, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's the biggest discipline.
Yeah,
boxing's
controlling
easy.
Your mind.
Boxing's, and every fighter will tell you, boxing's easy. Life is hard.
Yeah.
Life is the hard part. Going down, up and down of emotions, having adversity come at you, and my partner, my beautiful fiancée, she's a massive part of my success too. I don't know, not feeling a mother role because she's not my mother, she's my partner, but just to have that strong woman with me.
Oh, without a doubt.
And she was
your
with me.
partner can literally be one of the determining factors of your success or your downfall.
So my mum told me, she said, don't lose her. She's you found a good one there. So she reassured me before she passed. So since then, man, I've just been doing my thing, the boxing promotions, and
I was just about to ask. So that's pretty extensive with your boxing career in the past, being the actual guy in the ring.
Yeah.
What's the future now? Like, where are you at with the? You're still in the sport, obviously. So what are you doing now in the boxing space? Yeah.
So I'm in the sport as much as I can be. I don't think there's any more hats that I can wear. So I've been a fighter. I'm a coach. So I've trained boxers at amateur level to Commonwealth Games, Olympic Games. Luke Jackson is my main fighter I've had. I've trained boxers to Australian Championship fights and World Championship fights. Yeah. Bo Belbin, Luke Jackson. I've got Nazadara now. So and I've got amateur kids. So I train amateur and professional boxers. So I coach them getting ready to fight. I'm in their corner on the night of the fight. I manage fighters as well. So I do the business stuff as well. So I try and get them on this certain show or get them on this TV show or get sponsorship for them. I also promote my own shows as well, but I do my shows still back in my hometown of Tassie. So I've done...
Give back to the community?
Yeah, so I do 2 shows a year and I've been doing it for 25 years. Yeah, so I've still been doing them. And then lately I've been doing the media. I've been, I think 3 years now, I've been going over to America and Saudi Arabia doing the interviewing the fighters. So the Saudis have put a lot of money into boxing and I think snooker and MMA and WrestleMania to build up the tourism in Riyadh to try and be a bit like Dubai. And it's been good, it's country I never thought I'd go to. I've been there 7 times in the last year and a half. So
they've had some big fights too.
Yeah, big fights, yeah. So I was lucky. So I was over there working for Fight Hype, which is an American-based YouTube boxing channel. So I've done the Fury and Usyk 1 and 2. My seats for the Usyk and Fury first fight, I was three rows behind Ronaldo and Neymar,
really?
which was crazy. Yeah, and I met him in that.
Was that the fight where Ronaldo and McGregor were sitting side by side?
Nah, it's another one. Yeah, McGregor wasn't at that one. Yeah. I think that one was in England, the one you're talking about, not Saudi.
Was it?
I think it was in England. Yeah, I think it was Anthony Joshua versus.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was versus Dubois. Anyway, then I done the Beterbiev and Bivol 1 and 2, David Benavidez, Devin Haney, and then in Vegas I done Lomachenko, Devin Haney, Canelo versus Triple G, and obviously and then recently Crawford and so yeah.
All right. So how does a bloke from Tassie, Mornington,
Mm-hmm.
now get to rub shoulders with Ronaldo, rub shoulders with McGregor and Tyson and all the guys, all these people? Like, how have you put yourself in a position to get and meet some of these people? Yeah.
I'll tell you the secret is just having a full belief in myself and not being afraid to ask. Like, never afraid to ask something or just having that sort of confidence to make things happen. Like, if you sit back, you watch the world go by. I've always been that guy. I'll never die wondering. I'll never ever die wondering. So, yeah, man, that little kid in Tassie, and with all the posters on his wall of boxers, I think I met like 7 out of 8 of them champions. Now I've got 4 on my phone.
Yeah.
Oscar De La Hoya, Roy Jones Jr., like guys that I just idolised growing up. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, but yeah, just that self-belief. Like I said, it doesn't matter if no one believes in you as long as you do. As long as you go to sleep at night and you know that you'll do anything to get where you're going to go. And it could be wherever it's been. Look, I'll tell you now, if I applied to school work, when I applied to boxing, I'd be an engineer or a rocket scientist or working for NASA.
And totally fine that you didn't.
Yeah.
Because it just obviously wasn't your passion. That wasn't your discipline.
Yeah.
That wasn't your motivation to get into that space. And I'm sure had you put that mindset into that, you probably would have been.
Yeah.
All right. But you've gone down a different route.
Yeah.
And taken, because to get to be a rocket scientist, you have to have a level of discipline. Your discipline isn't getting up in the morning at 5 a.m. to train. Your discipline is, I need to learn this. I need to hit the books. I need to get better. I need to study. I need to connect with the brilliant minds. That's 100%. The discipline there.
Yeah.
That's difficult in its own right.
Yeah.
So it still takes that to have that level of greatness.
Yeah. No, I believe that. And but yeah, look, I still pinch myself. Look, the thing is, I'm a fan of the sport. So the fact that I'm there, and sort of, Canelo and becoming very good friends. We'll talk about it a bit in depth soon, but becoming very good friends with Terence Bud Crawford, who I call a brother, is just surreal, you know what I mean? It's crazy. And and like, even though I'm not massive in the soccer, but Ronaldo and Connor and they're all the who's who, aren't they? And when you're sitting close to them and you're on their level, you know what I mean? Like, not their level as in of finances or their achievements, but they know who you are. They shake your hand. And Neymar, he's a cool dude. He definitely knows who I am. But I mean, I'm that sort of guy though. I'll make my presence felt. I mean, I'm good. Yeah, and that's why I am, man. It is what it is. Like I always say, take me as I am or not at all. Like I'll never change for anyone. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, talk about peer pressure. When we'd play dress up and done Cowboys Indians, back in my era, I always wanted to be the Indian because no one wanted to be the Indian. I've always been that guy to go against the grain. Yeah. So that's the thing, and I don't think I'll bother changing at the age of 48. I think I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, and
why not?
Yeah, true.
If it's
worked so
working for
far,
you,
yeah.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. True.
If it's not
That's
broke,
right.
don't fix it.
That's it.
Okay, so the boxing world.
Yeah.
Where do you think the biggest? So you came through.
Yep.
Grew up around it.
Yep.
Went pro. Became a champion. Undefeated.
Yep.
8-0.
Yep.
You
should have been
4
20 and
knockouts?
0, but just
Should have been 20-0.
I said just
all those
so many.
all those pricks that pulled out, huh?
100%, man.
What do you reckon? Does that happen often in the sport?
Too much.
Like-
Yeah, and we're not saying not
Is
going
that
to
an
sit.
injury thing?
Not
or
going
is
to.
it-
Yeah, not going to sit here and go. People are scared. None of that. Crap. None of that shit. Look, things happen.
Yeah.
Someone,
Push
someone
yourself
injures
hard in a
himself.
training camp. Yeah.
Someone doesn't make weight.
Life happens.
Their sister died the day before. Like, things happen in life. So I'm not going to sit here. No fighter would say anyone's scared of anyone. But things happen, and all of a sudden, you're looking at all these years, you're thinking, well, I've had 8 fights and I've been scheduled for 20. And that's just a fact. And that's the way it goes. And, and so be it. And then you're thinking, geez, day in, day out, I'm at the gym, I'm taking the punches, I'm staying around my weight. So I never used to want to get too heavy. So I made a mistake once.
What weight were you fighting at?
So as an amateur, I was mainly a featherweight, 57 kilo.
57.
Yep. And I debuted as a pro super feather, which was 59 kilo.
Yeah, right.
So I was always light.
So how tall are you?
I'm only 5'4", 5'5", maybe.
See, that's still that's light.
Yeah, it is light.
That is
But,
light.
but that's not your walk around rate.
No, it's not my walk around rate, but I never used to walk around too much. Like I did I used to never say when I was fighting at 57, I'd probably only be around. I don't think I'd ever go any heavier than 62. Not too
Okay,
bad.
so it's still pretty
But
low.
I did once I did make a mistake. I did. There was these championships in Queensland, and my skulls. I didn't. You meant to get them checked and get them
Calibrated, yeah.
Thank you, calibrated. I was about to say braided, but you get them calibrated. And I hadn't anyway. They were off, mate, and I was on 10 kilos over.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I had like 48 hours to get rid of it. So I was just in the sauna, in the garbage bag with a tracksuit, in the sauna, then going for a run in the 30-degree humidity in Queensland, back in the sauna, and just all that shit. Yeah. So and I said I'll never do that again. So I've always been pretty switched on with the weight.
Okay, so you didn't have to do heavy weight cuts.
No, only that time.
Yeah.
Because I fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, because you see so many guys now.
Yeah, too much. MMA guys are ridiculous.
MMA guys, they're like
not
walking
healthy.
around, walking around 30 pounds higher than what they're fighting at.
Yeah, I hope they're getting paid a lot for that because they're
not.
No, because they're doing some crazy stuff.
You're saying, sorry, walking around heavier.
Way
Yeah,
heavier.
so they'll fight at in the MMA world, it's in pounds, but so they fight at say 170, but their walk around weight is 200 pounds.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So
and
they'll do
they'll
a
drop
massive
30 pounds to make weight.
Paddy the Batty is big with that. But he openly goes, I'm going to become the fattest fuck.
Yeah.
I
And don't
can,"
they do
'cause he loves his food.
the IVs as well and that sort of stuff with the
Post weigh in.
IVs and that? Yeah.
I think post weigh in as well. But so there's some.
So I'm not very like I think all this stuff's a bit more new, sort of the science, and I know a lot of the ways. I see a lot of them which I never done. They lay with like towels around them and
I don't know.
And that, see, I've never done that too, and I never. My fighters have, but I never done the baths either.
Oh, like ice
sometimes
baths
in the
and
hot.
all that.
No. I've done the ice bath. No, but the hot baths to lose weight.
Oh,
Yeah.
Where you're just in the bath and it's just sort of
yeah.
in a hot bath, and I just basically used to just do the. Look, I used to make sure I was okay, but look, at the end of the day, I'd skip with 50 jumpers on and jump in the sauna. So probably not the right way to do it, but that was the way.
But it worked.
We done it. Yeah, it worked. Always made weight. Never not made weight, which is a big thing in boxing. You should always make weight. That's just being professional.
I think it shows your level of professionalism.
100%. Yeah.
Like you can't make weight. Like you got one job.
That's what you do.
Like,
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, you seen it, mate? Don't worry. I've seen a lot of people not make weight,
Yeah.
and even some of my shows that I promote, I'm like, no, mate, no, that's not on.
Is that like if you don't make weight, is it like an embarrassing way to get out of the fight?
Yeah.
Do they proceed with the fights?
No, well, look, if it's for a title, you got to be spot on the weight.
Yeah.
Well, the fight doesn't go ahead.
Spot on is in not up, not down. You can be down.
You can be down.
down.
Yeah.
Can't be
Sorry, can't be over.
Yeah.
If it's not a title fight and there's not much difference, the two trainers can have a chat and agree. Okay, so you're only 1 kilo over. All right, then. Well, we'll still take the fight, especially if you think you can beat the guy. I'll accept the fight for 1 kilo over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Do they trade purses?
they can do that, yeah. So that's happened before. I've took money off a fighter, which is because he broke the contract, and gave it to the other fighter that made the weight and done the right thing.
Yeah.
So that's all part. But we have
All right.
contracts anyway.
If you're 3 kilos over,
Yep.
or 4 kilos, let's say
Yep.
5 kilos,
Okay.
is it an advantage to the heavier fighter? Sorry. Like, does it really make a difference to the fight?
Yeah, it just means that you haven't really wasted to get down too much, and the other guy has.
Okay.
So he's drained a bit more than you have.
Energy to get to that level.
And I think
And you're heavier.
Yeah, but is that an advantage? Maybe it's a disadvantage
Well,
because you're heavier.
I think
Because so that's the other
always
thing. Is it a
the
stat?
bigger guy is not always, but almost always gonna have an up.
a bit of an advantage.
Yeah.
Well, the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney fight. I mean, Ryan just come in at heavy. He come in overweight by a few pounds,
And he
and
bashed him.
the Haney's instead of making him get down in weight, they copped the $1.5 million instead. Because that was a big breach in contract. But then I reckon he should have made him get down, and because then it didn't work out. Ryan was on him, and you know, and so I mean, look, usually the weight does make there's weight divisions for a reason. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
That's why there's weight divisions. But but as I said, and look, while we're on the subject about weight divisions, my dear friend Terence Crawford went up 3 divisions. Well, they say 2 divisions. I really think 3 divisions, and beat Canelo Alvarez. So how amazing was that on Netflix in front of 41 million people? So that was just and not many people gave him a chance, but I did. I just knew when I brought him down last May, being around him, knowing how competitive he is. He's like Michael Jordan and Kobe. He's got that Mamba mentality, and I just knew that he was going to get the job done, and he did. So it was pretty cool.
He's who would you say in the boxing world?
Yeah,
and I think you kind of alluded to it before, but I just want to get a clear answer.
Yeah.
Who's the GOAT?
The GOAT?
The GOAT.
Well, look, everyone says Sugar Ray Robinson, and I've always said Sugar Ray Robinson. Muhammad Ali is the GOAT of heavyweights, and he's in the GOAT conversation. When you get technically, people always say usually Sugar Ray Robinson or Muhammad Ali, and people say, some people in this modern era say Floyd Mayweather, but I think Terence Crawford is definitely up there because he's 42-0.
Conversation,
42-0.
It's 42-0.
5 divisions, world champion, and 3 times undisputed. He's the only man to do it. That means when you've got all the belts. So he done it at welterweight. No, he done it at super lightweight, welterweight, and super middle against Canelo. So Terence Crawford is definitely in the argument for the GOAT conversation. I think fighters that are current will be looked at more later on. Like Muhammad Ali didn't get his true flowers until later on. And Sugar Ray Robinson, and if you didn't know, I don't expect you guys to know him, but it's back in the olden days.
Yeah,
but he was like at once he was like, I think it was like 177-1 at one stage. That was his record at one stage. You know what I mean? He's just a freak. But
yeah, and that's touching on that, right? So you look at, is Mike Tyson in the conversation?
No. Mike Tyson is the youngest heavyweight world champion of all time. At his time, he was the baddest man on the planet.
Yeah.
I think things could have went a different way if he hadn't lost Castamoto, his old coach.
Yeah.
And if he didn't go on such a downhill spiral, he could have been. But the fact is, when history remembers him, he didn't. Great fighter, legend.
Yeah.
But he's not in the GOAT conversation with Ali, Ray Robinson, or Bud, or Floyd Mayweather.
They were professionals.
Yeah.
Whereas he was a bad man.
Yeah.
He was like, well, he wanted to hurt people.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. He was going in and
Yeah.
I've heard, I don't know, can't vouch for this, but people saying stories like he would go in with so much anger built up into the fight, and then he would knock the person out in the first round, and that wasn't enough, and then he'd leave, go to a bar, and get into a bar fight. And it's like, and then just go and bash people at a bar because he had to get all this anger. And he used to cry. He said it. I used to sit down and cry before the fights because I didn't like who I was about to become.
Yeah, Mike. I mean, Mike's got an interesting story, and I mean, he's come from the streets of Brownsville, Brooklyn, and can't imagine what he's seen growing up and to do what he done. You know what I mean? Like to become, the youngest heavyweight champion of all time, which still stands to the day, to make millions and millions of dollars, to be rolling with Run DMC and Naomi Campbell, Eddie Murphy when he was like 19, and limousines and gold, jewelry and Lamborghinis, and he had it all. But they don't teach you how to look after the money or handle the fame at that age. When they're coming from the streets, not many fighters can handle it.
I think not many people could handle it.
Not many people could handle it, yeah. So, but he's doing well now. He's doing good, man.
Yeah,
he's,
you see him, he's completely different.
He's on podcasts. He seems like he's talking good. I've only met him the once, but
oh, you've met him?
Yeah, I met Mike. Yeah. I met Mike in 2012, I mean he's cool, man. Mike's a cool guy. Mike can go anywhere in the world and he eats for free. He doesn't have. He's still Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
He's still any line at any bar are just moving out of the way for Mike Tyson.
Iconic.
It is, man, and it's cool because he's still relevant. It doesn't matter. Not many fighters are. Like, some fighters you think, oh, hey, remember him? Like, oh, I haven't heard him for a while, but Mike Tyson is just Mike Tyson. But same as Muhammad Ali. I mean, Muhammad Ali, to me and to most people, and I'm sure you guys know this, it's not just about boxing with Muhammad Ali. Yes, he won 3 heavyweight world titles. Yes, he was Olympic gold medalist. Yes, he was one of the most beautiful, fastest boxers of all time and fought Fraser, Norton, Foreman, Liston. But he's more respected for the stands he took in life, where everyone usually, when you're faced with a decision to give up your world title, your status heavyweight champion, to give up your mansions, your cars, your money, you can't earn $1 from boxing because there's a court case, because he wouldn't refuse to go to the Vietnam War. And that was his belief. He said, why should I go fight against the Viet Cong when they never call me They never refused me to eat at a restaurant because I was black.
Yeah.
And no one would ever.
No, not back then.
People,
And
not even
so
now.
famous.
Not even now. People. Listen, people don't want to give up the finer things in life. He gave it all up because he stuck to his decision. It was his belief, and he couldn't earn a living from boxing for years, and he was facing jail. Only the court, and it wasn't until 4 years later when he got his license back. They even tried to talk about fighting on a plane. So because it had to be deliberately. He couldn't fight in America, but they took his passport. So he couldn't literally fight in America, but he thought maybe there was all these crazy things I was trying to do. But a great man, and he's a reason why there's so much money in sport. He's a reason why so many African American athletes have been, have made so much money. Yeah, because before him, no African American had a voice in sport. It was him. And then Jackie Robinson and that. But I mean, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, they all, there'd be none of them without Muhammad Ali, and he's unbelievable man.
Yeah, very unbelievable. Going back to the Mike Tyson thing, something I wanted to touch on. So if you look at his record, and you would be more, you'd have a better idea of this than I would, but you look back at it and he was fighting twice a month. Like so regularly.
Early days, very busy.
You'd look at his thing and
I think he had 16 fights in 1 year. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then you watch now and it's like pro fighters will fight
Yeah.
once every second year or once a year.
Yeah.
And if they're fighting twice a year, they're really active.
You know the reason behind that? That's when he was coming up as a young fighter. When you get to the world championship level, not even he was fighting that often. It's when you're up and coming and he was taking fights on small shows, and Customoto wanted to keep him active. He wanted him to fight regularly for a couple of reasons. A, to keep him in the gym, because when he was in the gym in between fights, he'd go back to Brooklyn from Catskill and get into trouble and put on weight. So he was took in by Customoto and his wife in Catskills, which is more like country New York. So Customoto was worried about him going home, getting in trouble, putting on weight and all that stuff, hanging around in the hood. So he kept him busy, fighting and improving. But once you got to the world championship level, you don't fight that often. So that's just a fact. So that can only happen when you're on the way up. That can't happen when you're at that world title level. Because when you're fighting, you might want to fight all the time, but it's actually an event. A big fight like a Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson fight is like a Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Build up to it.
So you got TV networks, TV dates. Everything's got to be aligned. So, look, the best you're going to get is someone fighting 4 times a year, but the real big ones is twice a year. Canelo, Mayweather, Terence Crawford now, Tyson is twice a year. Yeah.
Do you who do you see up and coming in the Australian boxing world?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm blessed to have many close friends. I mean, I'm very close to Tim Zhu. I've known Tim since he was 3 because I was close to Costa. I'm a big fan of his and a friend of his, and he was he had the world at his feet as world champion, and he had a couple of setbacks, and now he's on the road back. He's had 2 fights back. He's got a big fight against Errol Spence, which I've got a wager with Terence Crawford on in that one. So I'm hoping Tim wins it, but I want Tim to win for more than the money reasons. I believe in him that he'll get back to what he was, you know what I mean? So he's still, him and his brother Nikita are probably still the 2 of the main ones. Jai Pattaya, he's arguably our greatest that we've got at the moment. He just signed with Dana White in the Zuffa, the new league. George Gambosis, obviously, he's still got a couple of big fights left in, but he's been great over the years. Liam Paro, he's going for his second time as a world champion. And there's a lot of young, hungry guys, you know what I mean? But everyone's got to pay their dues and get there one day, you know what I mean? Sammy Goodman and all them guys, I mean. But we've got a lot of talent. But the ones that are sort of just that are talented, but the ones that go to that next level, that's a whole different ball game, you know what I mean? So,
what would you say to someone who, maybe because like grew up in a rough area, you've dodged the bullets.
Yeah,
well done for that. Most people don't. What would you say to someone who's kind of in that space now and wants an out or wants to go and achieve big things or
yeah. Look, like I always say, and like when I speak, like I don't say things, I don't mean to repeat, and I don't mean to like say it just as a, as an empty comment, but to be a leader, not a follower. So, the thing lately these days in Melbourne, what's going on, and I'm just horrified what's happening. It's getting worse and worse each day. I don't know, like, they're obviously getting around in groups and they're obviously up to no good. It just takes you to be big enough and have the balls, because it might be intimidating for them or it might be a bit like that, to say, no, you can do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to footy training. I'm going to go to boxing training. I'm going to go to whatever, to go to work, and I'm going to stop doing this shit, So it's all up to the individual. So we're assuming most of these guys are teenagers. So it was up to you as a teenager to do what I'd done and just say, mate, I'm a leader, not a follower. I'm a lion, not a sheep. Simple as that. It's up to you. You know what I mean? And you might be pressured by your friends and these guys you might look up to, or there might be a couple of guys you're a bit scared of in the group and they're like, do this. It's just up to you to say no.
Bit of courage.
Yeah, mate, a lot of courage. Just say, fuck off, mate. See you later. You can go and do your bullshit. But while we're on this subject, I've been massive on the knife crime stuff in Melbourne and Australia, but it's got to stop. Look, I don't condone violence, but I'm from a violent life, where, I've seen fights all the time. I've seen uncles fight uncles. I've seen dad fight my grandfather, both in drinking. I've seen aunties fight. I've seen friends fight. But as I said, it's always with your fists, So I can say, if you don't fight at all, but if you have to fight with your fists and stop carrying weapons, because if you arm yourself with a machete before you leave home, you are a weak coward, and that's all it is. And I'm sure your grandfather never done that, so be like your grandfather. We all should look up. I'm sure, these kids, it doesn't matter what race or religion they're from, I'm sure that their grandfathers never act like this. So be like your grandfather. Don't go around and be so weak. You shouldn't be running around terrorising people anyway, because that's just not the way Australia is, or anyone should be. But definitely don't go carrying knives, because what are you going to do? So, okay, you're going to stab someone. All right, so you're going to probably kill someone. What's going to happen then, mate? You're going to go to jail. Then we're going to see how tough you really are, son. We're going to see how tough you really are in the prison system. I know a lot of people, a lot of friends, a lot of dear friends have been from that system. I treat how people they treat me. I'll sit down with a billionaire, and I have done, and I'll sit down with a guy that's done 10 years jail. And I probably prefer the 10 years jail guy, his company, over the billionaire. But I'll mix with anyone, all right? If you're decent to me. I'll never mix with a pedophile or a rapist. But if you're a bloke who's a knock-around bloke and done a bit of this, done a bit of that, hey, good on you. You know what I mean? But the thing is, these kids with the knives, you're going to end up not only killing someone, not only taking someone's son or daughter from them, you're going to end up in jail. So for what? To run around in some little...
their own life as a result.
Yeah, they run around in some suburb because they've got a different postcode or...
So do you think the system's broken as a result
Mate,
of
Australia, I'm going to say this. Australia is turned into a shithole. Melbourne is turned into a shithole. We're gone. And it won't change. It's going to get worse. We're gone.
How do we fix it?
We're gone. Labor, Liberal, doesn't matter. Melbourne has turned into an absolute shithole where I'm contemplating moving my family because I'm over it.
I think a lot of
Where you
people.
going?
I think
It's
people are
it's
like
crap.
that. I understand. I understand the sentiment behind that. And look, I think it will take something extraordinary to change the people's mindset and also the culture around it, because it's a shame. You know, it's a beautiful state, and you've moved here for
It was
a reason
awesome.
many
It was
many
awesome,
years
mate.
ago.
It was awesome. But since COVID, it's gone downhill.
Yeah, you see it way too often.
Yeah.
Like even the other day in Port Melbourne, there
Yeah, I
was a
saw
bashing.
that,
I saw
yeah.
that video. Like,
I wish I was there.
That's 5 minutes away.
I wish
you
I
know what
was
mean?
there, mate.
Yeah, but
I
that's
swear
what I
to
mean.
God.
You see,
Well,
you're
yeah.
seeing this more
happened? I
often
missed
and
it.
more
What
often. Just some kids jumped some other kids.
Yeah,
some other
with
people.
weapons, and they were,
know what it was.
yeah, it was pretty bad. And then we
Was
saw there was a guy as well somewhere, all in white, with a fake machine gun that looked real, and he got bailed straight away. The thing is, the punishment is not harsh enough.
Yeah.
They get bailed straight away, and they don't get enough jail time. They're not scared of the repercussions. So if you're not scared of something, look, I know that it's only going to get worse. And I
especially
really
if
don't see it getting better.
If it's not there,
And you
the
can
punishment
say,
isn't there,
"Oh,
I
give
agree.
the kids this." They've got nothing to do there. But fuck off, mate. If you're the sort of person to arm yourself with a weapon before you leave home, what sort of person are you? You're looking for trouble.
No, they're looking for it exactly.
I don't arm myself with a weapon, mate. If something happens one day, I'm still ready now. My missus goes, "Oh, you're always on edge." Mate, I'm always ready because I don't trust anyone. So anyone comes in my family, they're gonna get the version of me that's ready to rock. You know what I mean? And it is it's just bad. All I can say is it's not going to get better, guys. It's going to get worse. So I go to England a lot, and all over there you can't wear a watch, you can't do nothing.
Yeah, right.
And and they're all the gangs over there, and people are leaving London because of it. So I think they're 5 years ahead of us. Australia is London in 5 years.
Australia or Melbourne?
Yeah, I was going to say, is this a Melbourne thing you're seeing, or do you see it in other states as well?
Melbourne and Sydney. I mean, Sydney, there's shootings. Sydney's different. Sydney and a lot of people that are up there with this stuff, but because in boxing you meet everyone, you know what I mean. And as I said, I don't judge anyone, you know. But Sydney is a bit different. There's a lot of shootings at the moment and kidnappings, but they're all
a lot
of kidnappings, but they're all crime related.
Yeah, right.
They're all sort
They're
of like
targeted, yeah.
if you're a family that's doing something, other people's family in Melbourne is random crime.
It's random, you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. And I'm talking home invasions. So you're there with your family.
So
you're there with your family? You're there with your family.
that have copped that. You know?
Well, you're there with your family. Doesn't matter what suburb. You can be in good old beautiful Brighton, or you can be in one of the western suburbs, you know, where I am, or whatever. You will have 6 youths break into your house, and you'll have a knife at your fucking throat with your wife and your daughter or son in the next room. And this happens all the time. They want your car keys. They want this. Sometimes you might get a bashing from it, or sometimes the person can chase them away. Are you seriously, when you go to bed at night, you got to worry about young, little putrid dogs coming to your house?
No, yeah, fucking.
Pulling
and
up,
then,
yeah?
and then let's just say you get a hold of one of them. Do you know what I mean? You get a hold of one of them and you give them a belting of a lifetime,
No.
and then you get fucked up.
I'm killing them.
But that's the thing, right? But that's the thing, right?
I'll
And
say
it
it,
is.
I'll say
There's
it
one
now.
court
I'll say
case.
it on this interview.
It's yours, but
Anyone comes to my house, I'm killing them. My dad always said, your house is your kingdom. They won't leave.
that's the thing, though, right?
I'll defend myself in court.
Yeah, I know, but
They won't
this is how
leave.
broken the system is.
bad is it,
yeah?
though?
This is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. They're going to persecute you
Yeah.
as a result of
Yep.
your actions, even though you've been invaded and held at knife point, at gunpoint.
I'll
and
happily
bashed
defend
or
myself.
whatever it is.
Yeah, I think
It's a joke. It's
got to
we're getting
think-
like America. It's getting bad, man. And then you've got kids. My stepdaughter, I bought her a pair of Jordan 4s in Vegas at one of the big fights, and I said, "Why don't you wear them?" She goes, "Oh, they're kids around
Around the schools. or
around the
area.
shopping centre out west, Water Gardens." She said,
You get jumped for that.
they get jumped, by a certain group of nationality who won't, start doing race stuff. But
Well,
it's,
do you think
it's not Aussies
do you
doing
think
it.
it's an immigration thing?
Of course it
An issue with that?
is.
Yeah.
Wake up and smell the coffee, Australia.
Absolutely.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
It is, though. Oh, but don't
Call an
say
ace
it
of
because you
spades an
might,
ace of spades. Like a, yeah.
you might assault someone. Mate, it's not white Aussies doing these crimes.
Yeah.
Tell you now. And I'm not being racist, but take it how you want. It's fucking not,
you're right.
mate.
You're not wrong.
It's not. So, you know what I mean? It is what it is. We're not going to their countries and doing shit because we'll be chopped up with an axe and tied up by a tree.
Yeah, look, if it is driven by a certain ethnicity, I think that if they've been granted access to this country, this is what my stance on it is. If you're from another country and you commit a heinous crime here, or violence, or just something that's like you're saying, even just carrying a knife, using a knife, using a machete.
Well, the guy that had the gun,
without a doubt, you're on the next boat out.
100%.
That's it. There's no trial. There's no chances. No. You get to go to jail for 3 weeks or juvie or whatever it is. No. Pack your shit and go back to the country you came from. Sit there and do whatever you got to do.
yesterday,
Where was this?
somewhere in Melbourne,
Oh, so for those.
and he got a
at home.
bail. He got bail straight away.
Was that the pretend one or was that a
It's
real-
pretend, but how real does it look? And he's
Yeah, okay.
aiming at people, and he's in this white jumpsuit.
Yeah, so in a white
African
jumpsuit
descent.
for those of you watching at home, and it's
Yep,
just someone pretending to have a gun and pretend to aim at people.
yep.
But how do you know as a person, like seeing that? You know, what do you do?
And
You'd freak.
And
Yeah, exactly.
What he mentioned just before,
Especially
just-
with what happened in Sydney.
and
at
just here?
Bondi.
now that's what he was talking about. That was in Port Melbourne. They'll get around Bay Street.
That was I saw that the other day. And then what happened in Oakley?
Yep.
Outside, outside of my good friend's cafe.
Yep.
You know, they had the machete tack literally at the fucking front door. How many times? Like, I've been there.
Well, that's
plenty
what
of
my
times
post
before.
was the other night about that.
Yeah,
How
like,
bad is that? And they
that's
would,
disgusting.
you know, like it's, I think what's going to happen is when us, the citizens, we start retaliating.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. You're going
So
to
I'll tell you now, mate. I'll tell you now. I've got a baseball bat in my car.
Yeah. But
And I'll be happy.
Okay, you're going to be happy.
I'll
but
be
you're
happy
not-
to knock if I get, say, surrounded by a car. I'm always ready, and I pulled it out the other day.
Yeah,
I'll just quickly tell you, something happened with my stepdaughter. She's only 16, and there was a group of young boys, and I went and met them in McDonald's. Now, I'm not going to go up and fight 6 people, probably with a knife. But put it this way, when I rocked up, they fled. So,
Well, the
but I
majority
shouldn't
of
have
them
to
would
be doing this crap, though.
That's right.
You
That's
know
right.
what I
But what
mean?
I'm saying is, even from the perspective of if you did go there and defend yourself, the system is so backwards that you get in trouble
The
as a
copper
result
spoke
of
to
that.
me. He said, "Mate, next time do it in your own hands." I said, "Well, mate, sorry, but I'm not going to rely on you guys."
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And
but I
that's
mean,
the-
it is what
that's
it
the
is.
other
Yeah. I
disappointing
mean,
too.
yeah.
Look, I'm not putting down the police force in any
No,
way.
never mind.
I think
They
they're great
they
for
make
what
the
do.
arrests.
I think their hands are tied.
They
just as
are.
much
The
as
court
anyone
system
else's.
doesn't give
That's
them.
exactly
I know,
right.
you know. But the thing is, but are we going to have to start taking our country back or start reacting to these crimes?
Do you think?
Because you
that-
can't just be a sitting duck and let this shit happen.
Yeah. Do you think Australia's got that in them?
I think.
I think we're a
COVID
sitting duck.
I think what COVID showed to me.
Oh, about to say it.
right, is
How weak we really are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is
And
we are a
compliant.
country of
Thank you.
followers.
Thank
which
you.
and
Lay down,
sheep.
yeah.
Thank
and
you.
it's like,
Oh.
we can't go out after 5 p.m.
I'm
yes,
so happy
sir.
to be on
Thank
this
you, sir.
podcast. Thank you.
That's
No, I'm
fucked.
serious.
Oh, mate, like we've publicly said, if I walk past Andrews in the street,
He's
I
got
will
a
spit in
statue.
his
He's
face.
got a statue.
Mate, they should run that.
He's over there in
I
China
become
with,
premier-
yep.
we've spoken. I'm running for premier soon. So
Let's go.
I
You got
hope-
my vote.
I got your vote. Good.
Here we go.
Now
we're
I'm
cooking.
taking down that. I'm taking down that statue.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to destroy it.
No.
I'm going to put it in Werribee.
You're not that sort of person.
I'm going to put it in Werribee in the
Yep.
shit farm.
Yes.
So that everyone's shit goes
Yep.
past that statue,
Sounds good.
past his face every single day.
On
That's
your
what I'm
Dan.
going to do with
And what
that.
about
Right.
the
Yeah.
wicked
Glad-
witch who's there now though? This one. What's her name?
Jacinta.
Jacinta.
Just as bad.
She's a clown.
Arguably, if she was in power when Daniel was in power, she'd probably be worse. The stuff that she's doing, it's just so detrimental. I don't understand in this country how you can blatantly do something so bad as a politician
Yeah.
and just be like, oh, well, our budget is in surplus this month. I don't understand what you're saying. Like, shut the fuck up.
Lost
like,
the comm games.
$13
Lost the comm
million
games. Yep.
for machete bins.
Yeah.
And you're an advocate
Machete
for getting
bins.
getting rid of the bin
Fuck me
of
dead.
knives.
How bad?
Do you know what I mean? You're
That could have
telling
been
me. You're
spent
telling me.
on some.
Me as a youth
Yes.
crime advocate, I've
Yes.
got my machete and go, you know what? I'm going to go put this in the bin now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going
Good
to
on
use
you.
this.
You
Yeah,
feel-
I'm going to
feel
go put it in the
better,
bin.
yeah.
And not only that, it's the fact that you spent 13 mil on 30 of them. Or
It's
whatever
actually
it was.
hideous. It was actually.
Like, mate, I'm a builder. I
stupid
know how
number,
much
man.
these things would cost to build, logically
We're in
speaking.
the wrong business.
But you know-
Someone's pockets got lined.
You know the question you asked before, like why do generations get sort of softer and softer? How do you think our grandparents or my dad or grandparents era would have handled COVID, do you think they would have complied? No, they wouldn't have, mate.
They wouldn't have been able to. The technology wasn't available for them back then to sit down and work from home.
But them as people, they wouldn't do it anyway.
Yeah.
I stopped my dad from going to the pub. The pub, he just go in there and pour his own beer.
Yeah.
It's, but this is what I reckon, right?
world.
So the rich elite sat back and they go, it's a little test. Wow, they are really complying. Geez, Australia, they're easier than what we thought. They were laughing at us.
Yeah.
I remember sneezing once at Coles in Port Melbourne and this lady ran, thinking, fucking mate, take it easy.
But how stupid.
Or the mask when you're driving your own.
Toilet paper. Like how dumb.
Yeah.
I can't believe the stupidity of people to go, we're about to die from a disease, better stock up on toilet paper.
Yeah.
Like, fucking hell.
A lot of people made a lot of money from COVID.
That's fine. I've got no issues with people making a lot of money during disaster periods. Like,
But before we wrap this up, what's your conclusion? How do we fix, because we can keep talking about, how do we fix the crime with the teenagers in Melbourne with these knives? How do we fix it?
Look, from what I've seen, I feel like there are some good politicians out there, and I think it has to start from there. There has to be a policy change as far as the consequence fitting the crime, because at the moment, you said it's too weak. There's not enough going on, and decisions are being made for the better of an individual, because they'll get their pockets lined or they get a promotion or whatever it might be, and not for the good of the people. So I think someone needs to come in with some brass balls, man or woman, whatever it's going to be, and this is why you look at Pauline Hanson and how much she's swung her voters her way.
Yeah.
This is a lady who's been quite extreme in some of her views, and now people are looking at her and going, fuck, she makes a lot of sense.
Well, people are over it. Australians are over it.
They're over it. And
Australians
don't be surprised the next election if she polls very well. And it's like you need someone to come into play and go, all right, this is what's going to happen now. You want to fuck around, you're going to find out. But are they going to get met with roadblocks along the way? Oh, you got to fill out this form. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, the lefties don't want you this. The rights don't want this. And then all of a sudden you're back in the same spot. I don't know. This is why I say, like, if I was ever to become premier, I'd almost be a dictator. I'd be like, no, shut your mouth.
You would be.
Your opinion is irrelevant. This is what's best for the country, or this is what's best for the state.
Yeah.
And we're never going to get to that place because it's a democracy, but also there's too many people blocking the way. I think the rules need to change. I think, excuse me, if you're going to go out and do the wrong thing, there's got to be a consequence for it. There has to be.
I totally agree. And like before we go, two countries I love. So I was always Russia. I love Russia. Been there 3 times. I'm going back again. I'm celebrating their Christmas. I think the Orthodox Christmas. I think it's January 9th or whatever next year. So and mate, always feel at home in Russia. I've never once felt any not being any fear of safety, which I have felt that in LA and New York. It's probably not everyone's thing, like in the political, but I like the way Putin runs Russia. I like the way he's a strong leader. And that's just my opinion. The men there are strong. They've got that men are men, and they've got that old school, you know what I mean? And I think, just the way they are, I feel like, Australia should sort of be a bit based on that. The kids are it's all about schoolwork, and they're very, very polite, and just, none of this crap's going on over there. He rules with an iron fist. Chechnya, a country that many people have been to from Australia, I had the opportunity to meet Ramzan Kadyrov, who is the president of Chechnya, which is Russia's right-hand sort of, right-hand sort of, they're co-is, you know what I mean? And Chechnya is a former, it's a republic now, but it was part of the Soviet Union. And it's a Russian Islamic country, but I went there for a boxing match, and we sponsored, me and my friend Wayne Howlett, we sponsored one of the fighters and got to meet the famous president, who's always surrounded by 50 armed Chechen soldiers. And the fact that I got to go up and give him a hug and say, hello, my friend, and he said, welcome to Chechnya, and, alhamdulillah, and he was a great man, you know what I mean? A country like that, none of these little rats are fucking up in their countries. But here,
that's the thing. There's
here,
this huge
they're not scared.
Yeah, that's right.
And I mean, I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, man.
I think you're right to a degree. I think there may come a breaking point with people.
People just start doing it. Yeah, and as I said, I'm not condoning vigilantes, but mate, maybe there has to be some vigilantes. Yes. I mean, look, I'll tell you now. Like I said, if it's to do with me and my partner and my children, then I will kill them, 1,000,000%. I won't even blink an eye. So I'm not saying everyone go out and do that, but if you're going to protect your own house, you know, you're not going to let anyone
protect your own.
You got to. You know, and I'll think about it later, the repercussions.
Yeah.
But all these little wankers, and I said on my Instagram the other day, running around with knives in Melbourne, put them down, guys. Go and get an education. Go and get a job. Get into a sport. Some of you kids look like you could be good athletes. Come and I'll train you.
Yeah.
But do something with your
go.
life.
What an invitation.
Yeah,
Go
I'll
there
come and train
get
you guys
trained.
for free.
That's it. Get
In
your life on
Altona.
track.
Stop these knife shit and being wannabe gangsters, okay, guys? Because you're not impressing anyone, okay? The real men, the real gangsters, OGs in Melbourne, are laughing at you little wankers.
Yeah, I was gonna, you talked about what's gonna be the fix. I was gonna say that whole thing around community, man, giving places people can go to get off the streets.
Come and train.
Yeah, give them a place.
Like imagine there was a government subsidy and they said, hey man, we'll pay you if you take these kids off the street and train them in your gym.
Mate, someone contacts me now, first 2 weeks are free on me. I'll train how many? I don't care.
I'm gonna call you before this is live.
Let's get it going, guys.
So, Tassie, for people who want to follow the journey, see what you're about, or maybe inquire about the offer you just put out, man, where do they find you?
Yep. Instagram, Grant Tassie Brown. And Facebook, just Grant Brown. But yeah, man, I've got a website too, Tassie Brown Boxing. As I said lately, I've done some great things with Roberto Duran, Terence Crawford, two tours. There's a few rumours coming up soon that maybe Conor McGregor or Ryan Garcia might be coming. We'll talk about that later.
Good.
But
just get him on the podcast.
Yeah,
we'll have him ready for the chat.
Just having a crack, man. Just said honouring my mum and dad. I wish well on everyone. A big believer in God, and as I said, and I'm just trying to do my thing. I'm just staying in my lane, not hurting anyone, and just doing the best I can be. You know what I mean?
Not hurting anyone outside of the ring.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but yeah, just trying to, man. If I can lead by example, and I can get some of these kids and someone to follow my footpath, then I've done my job. You know what I mean? But hey, life's good, man. Life's what you make it. Hey, I'm just can't wait till the world eases up a bit, so I can travel a bit more and get back to Dubai because I love Dubai and God's great and God bless everybody.
Love it. I've got one final question for you.
Yep.
What's one life lesson that boxing has taught you?
Just to always prepare for the worst, and never think. Prepare for the worst and be ready to face adversity, because nothing can ever be that good. Something will go wrong, and whether it's a bad injury, you miss out on a team selection, or a loss, or a bad injury, or anything like that. Just the fact that you can't take nothing for granted.
That's it. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah. I mean, that's it, and just allow for that and work for a way. But also too, you can get over anything. I mean, there's nothing that you can't get over in life if you're willing to fight for it. So yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. All right, Tassie, mate, been a pleasure to have you on the show. It's been a great chat, and yeah, we'll definitely be following your story and seeing how you're going with everything. And mate, wish you all the success. Hope to see you bringing some more people down into the country and promoting the sport and promoting the healthy message that you're sending across, and hopefully we can influence some kids and get them off the street, get them into the gym, get them into something that's more positive and impactful.
Stay away from drugs, guys. Nothing ever good comes from drugs. It's the biggest root of all evil. I've had family members, die of overdoses, older cousins, and I've seen it ruin people's lives. So, if a friend offers you a drug, they're not really a friend. So it's a big thing. Stay away from the drugs. Stay away from the street life, guys, because it's not that great. So just try and be good humans. That's it. Be good to each other.
That's it. I've said it better.
That's it. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.